which I learned very young rhymes with heifer. I grew up in a rural area about 4.5 hours northeast of here, a dairy area. And I'm a lawyer. My first job, before I became a lawyer, my first job out of college was as a special education teacher's aide, working in a small rural district, working with kids who were really struggling. And the last 18 years or so, I have been raising up people's voices to fight against corruption, to fight for great public education. I believe public education is the infrastructure of democracy. To fight for renewable energy technologies. And I'm really proud of the people that I worked with here to ban fracking in New York State. I'm running because I think Congress is broken. It's both corrupted by big money and gridlocked. And actually the corruption and the gridlock go together. Because when you have built a campaign finance system where 50% of your job is to sit in a cubby and call people for money, that's 25 hours a week that you aren't talking to people across the aisle about the broadband that we should be putting in place, the transportation systems we should be putting in place, and the real problems that people have to solve. So I'm a strong opponent of dark money and super PACs, and a strong proponent of transparency and public financing of elections. I've spent a lot of time in this county. I know a lot of you, I've seen a lot of you many times. I want to thank you for helping me get 66% in the Democratic primary a few years ago. And then since then, I have been to the Heron and drank a beer at Narrowsburg. I've been kayaking, of course. And I've spent a lot of time talking to people about how we move past the fracking ban and actually towards building the renewable energy infrastructure that we need. I've also been in Sullivan recruiting teachers to run for office and talking about how we can have public financing of elections. And through that, and in the last 6 weeks, what I've heard over and over again is that people feel shut out of the political system. They feel like their voices, they have real things to say and their voices aren't heard. And I'm committed to raising up those voices. Congressman Hinchey is a real hero of mine. I think he showed what somebody can do in Washington. And what Congressman Hinchey did is ground his work in constituent service, in the very local concerns, whether that be finding something for the kids to do after school in Monticello, or making sure that we have really high quality competitive broadband everywhere so people can stay here after high school or after college and actually build a life here. Those local concerns are 80% of the job and the part of the job that I'm really excited about performing. So we've had a good first 3 weeks. We're grounding our campaign in grassroots, in local communities, in local concerns, and I'm really proud that we have over 4,000 individual donors with an average donation of $30. That small grassroots contribution means so much more than the big dollar, because it basically frees me to serve you instead of serving big donors. I couldn't be at a more beautiful place in a more beautiful snowstorm. And I am ready to have a dance-off after the Cookoff. And the chili was absolutely spectacular. So thank you for spending a little time with me tonight.
Thank you.